Hey guys, what is up? Just to have you guys look at me real quick. It's Tony from Mag Monkeys. I am going to be doing a basic how-to, in general, like maintenance video on pistols. Today we have the Elite Force Red Jacket edition of the 1911. With Red Jacket trademarks and whatnot. So I'm going to be taking this pistol apart today and cleaning it, lubing it, and putting it back together. And I'll just be pointing out some things along the way that are just some general good maintenance tips for you guys to be doing on your gas blowback / CO2 powered pistols. I'm hoping that that's a good angle. So yeah. So basically, to get started, most pistols operate or break down in this way. You have to cock it first. You're going to be pushing this down. When you get this lined up, there's a little notch here, right here, that you're going to want to make sure is lined up on the slide with the slide catch. You do not want to go all the way to here. Doing this is going to be nothing but frustrating. There's a separate notch that it will not actually catch on very well. It's not meant for it. It's actually meant just for the takedown. So you're going to push the pin there, and then you're going to extract it. Sometimes you might need to get some pliers to pull it out if it's kind of being a little pain in the butt. But there you have it. So this comes out, then the slide should just come off like so. With most pistols, you're going to have what's called a spring guide rod, which is this bit right here. So you're going to go ahead and remove that. Which then will come with the spring guide rod as well as the spring. 1911s are a little different in this, but there's that. This is an extra piece here. It's also part of that same system, so you want to remove that. Then most guns are going to allow you to push the barrel forward and lift it out of here. However, 1911s are a little different. You have to twist this lovely little thing here to the side. I'm sorry that I don't know the technical name. Pull that out, and then this whole inner outer barrel mechanism actually just slides out the front. And then you have another spring that sits here on top of the barrel. You're going to go ahead and remove that spring. And then with this particular gun, you do not have a removable inner barrel from the outer barrel. Some pistols do have that, so if that will come apart, go ahead and pull that apart. But like I said, this one does not, so we do not have to worry about that on this. Things that you're going to want to have when doing maintenance on a pistol: paper towels, very useful. Q-tips for all those hard to reach places, as well as getting inside of the barrel and giving it a decent scrubbing. And then I use both types of oil generally, the spray type as well as just the stuff that you put on. Obviously, I use this quite a bit. I highly recommend this more so than this. This is really something I only use for places that are very hard to get, and the frame with the trigger shears and stuff. Let me clarify that this is just a very basic thing that you should be doing after you use your pistol, even if it's just for test firing, even if it's just a couple of shots. It will make your pistol dirty. I highly recommend that you do this. You really can't over clean your pistols. And if you want them to last you a while, this is something that you're going to do. So we'll start with the paper towels. I'll get that out. You're going to notice that there's a lot of gunk that comes off of this, especially when using CO2. If you don't use lubricated CO2, which I don't because I take apart my guns every time I use them and lube them, you're going to have a lot of that dirt. So basically, you're going to scrub every single part of the gun until you get no more gunk coming off of it. Sometimes that can take a while, especially if it's been a while since you've cleaned your pistol, or if you've had a heavier day of use of your pistol, you're going to have more gunk. But you really want to get just about everywhere with it, just as far as cleaning it off. Even when you buy a pistol brand new, I highly recommend that you do this, as long as it's not going to void your warranty, because I've had a lot of pistols come brand new with a lot of not very clean lube on the inside of the pistol, which, yeah, I know they got their warranty and stuff, but as you guys probably know, Airsoft warranties are not the best, and you definitely don't want to have any issues with a new gun. So this is more of a preventative thing when you buy something new. So keep that in mind. Always good things to have with you on the field in case you have a problem. Sometimes cleaning and lubing your pistol will solve some problems, and maybe it was just too dirty, maybe things were just slightly out of alignment, whatnot. Definitely does not hurt to do this often. And that is why, like I said, I do this every time that I use a pistol for the game. Talking a little bit more about the Elite Force 1911, this gun gets a lot of mixed reviews, to be quite honest. Some people love it, some people hate it. I personally am a huge fan. I own 3 of them myself. I think they're a great gun for beginner. This gun can stand up to a lot of abuse. It can be dropped. It's full metal. It's OEM'd or originally manufactured by KWC, so there's lots of good things to say about that company. They're kind of like the KWA of CO2. Highly recommend any of their guns for CO2 use. They build really good stuff. So that's kind of this gun in a nutshell. They make the TAC model, which is this exact same gun, just with a tan frame, and they also make the standard 1911 government issue model without the tactical rail. All of them are really good guns. All the magazines are compatible with each other. They do not make a gas mag for this gun, so that is something to be aware of. Also, they do make an extended mag, so right now these mags hold 14 rounds. The extended mag, I think, doubles that to like 28, if I'm not mistaken about that, or it might be 30 or something like that. But they are pretty cool. I had some, unfortunately, they got stolen from me. So, yeah. But they are a really good gun. They're very reliable. The hop-up adjustment is located right here. It's this little flywheel. It's kind of a pain to get to, and it doesn't necessarily hold very well, but there is that. So there are some downsides to this pistol. My biggest complaint being that the inner barrel is not removable, which makes it extremely difficult to do any type of upgrade to this without damaging this hop-up system. So that part kind of sucks. If you really, really wanted to get this thing out, I guess you could Dremel through these little things here on the side, or just this one little thing here that keeps it locked in place, and then you could get it out. But then, it might not function correctly because that's not how it was designed. You're going to also notice that I am cleaning the springs. This is really important to do with any pistol, especially if it's got more than one spring. Springs are awesome, and they are the livelihood of your pistol. If they lose their tension, if you stretch them out, you will have a not so good functioning pistol. So you'll notice as I clean them, I just basically twist them while putting a little bit of pressure on from the paper towels from each side, and as you can see, there's some marks there from the spring. So it gets it fairly clean by doing it this way. And I might do it a couple of times if it's especially dirty, or if I'm feeling like an oily residue on my fingers, although probably feeling that just from just about anything at this point. So, always just double checking the parts, making sure everything's good here. Even if it doesn't serve a huge mechanical purpose, it's always good just to have things clean so things can run really smoothly. And you might have noticed the shine from that. That's from the lube. We'll get to that part right now. So I am fairly comfortable that this gun is clean. I'm just going to double check everything. Like I said, it doesn't hurt to do that, so it's always a good idea. Get the sears and everything. The safety, if you want that to not break, you want to make sure that you're cleaning that area as well. So I'm done with cleaning this gun. Now the next step is lubricating this gun. So I'm actually going to start off with the spray lube. It doesn't really matter which order you do this in. This is just the order that I'm doing it in today. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong way. So spray lube, I'm going to be looking for things. There's a little silver piece down here in the mag well. Can't really get to that very well with standard lube, so I'm going to put a little lube in there, and I'm going to actually work it in to the part by making the part move. I'm also noticing that the sear here on the side is moving, so I'm going to put a little bit of lube in that. Not too much, you don't want to overdo it. You can actually over lube a pistol, so you don't want to do that. Then you've got the hammer that obviously moves, so I'm going to put a little dab in there, and that should do it. That's pretty much all I'm going to need this for. So I'm done with this. The other thing that you want to move or lube, and you can look for it by any of this like silver polished look stuff, is any metal on metal contact. That's extremely important to keep lubricated because there's friction going on there, and the lubrication will help minimize the friction and keep things moving smoothly. There's generally rails on the pistol where the slide slit sits on. I always put lube on that. Both top and bottom. You just want to put a light coating on. You don't want to go crazy with this stuff. You get things too lubricated, you could have things falling apart on you, things like that. So you definitely don't want to do that. So the lower part of the gun is done now. I'm going to put some lubricant on the inside of these rails here. That's where it slides onto the gun, so that's really important to have that lubricated. There's also the nozzle, and the nozzle has return springs, so if your nozzle is not coming back like that when you pull on it, that means it's time to replace those return springs. Usually it's not super recommended, but if you're in a jam and you need to get this pistol back out, a spring from a ballpoint pen will generally fit on one side or the other, and both nozzle return springs will be the same size. So in a jam you can do it for the day. I definitely don't recommend it for long-term use. Definitely want to go get the ones that the manufacturer provides, which you can generally order. So that's working fine. I'm not going to worry about that. Put a little lube if you want to help those springs out on the top of the nozzle here, never on the front. I'll explain why in a second. So it's actually been a while since I've done this, and I wouldn't do this necessarily every time, but it does help. And why is the lube not coming out? Because I have like 0 left. So just kind of work it in there. You notice that I've been moving this, so you don't want to do that a whole lot because once again that can stretch those springs and you don't want to do that. So there's that. Now it's kind of time to put things back together. So it's the same exact process but in reverse. So we're going to first start out with the inner and outer barrel assembly sliding in through the front, and that's going to align into the nozzle. So I did actually say I'd come back to that part, and this is why you don't put any lube on the front of the nozzle. The nozzle is going to make contact inside of here, which is where your BBs are going to be, and it's also where the hop-up rubber is. You do not, under any circumstance, want lubricant to go into the hop-up because it can touch the hop-up rubber, which will cause it to swell. And that can be make your pistol prone to jamming. It can also make it misfire. It can do weird things with the hop of the BB and whatnot, so you just really want to avoid doing that. So putting it back together, barrel goes first, then you want to secure that with this. Sorry, once again, I don't know the formal name for that. So that's all set. Then you're going to take this piece. You'll notice it's flat on one side for this particular gun. Not all 1911s have this piece flat. This one does, so it makes it kind of easy. You're going to put that in like so. It won't really rotate on you at all, and it'll be secure in place. Now when I say secure, this barrel is going to move, but it can't leave the front of the gun. And then with this piece in place, it also helps. So then you've got the smaller spring, and you know what, I just realized I forgot a step. I'm sorry. So before you do any of that, you're going to make sure that you put the barrel spring back on. That is a big mistake on my part. Sometimes these guns don't actually require that spring to function. It's just definitely there to provide some other assistance with the recoil. So, I mean, it might not need it, but it definitely is something, if I have, I'm going to put it in. Spring goes in to said gun, and voila. This thing can be a little finicky sometimes. Forgot this as well. So this is the spring guide rod. So this part actually sit on the top of the spring ride guide, or I'm sorry, the spring will sit on this will sit in here. You feed the spring in. You knew something didn't feel right. And then this has a little hole here, you'll see. It's going to line up with that little piece of metal, which is right here. There you have it. Then you're going to go ahead and slide it back on to the rails like so. And then you're going to align that little hump with the square hole that's there. Put your pin into the hole. And there you have it. You might notice that the gun shines in light, so there's certain spots there's some lube on the trigger and the trigger guard and stuff. Go ahead and wipe that off. You don't want it to slip out of your hands, and once again, over lubing a gun can be a bad thing, so I just generally wipe everything off at the very end here. Now I mentioned Q-tips before. You can do this when the gun's disassembled. You can also do this gun when the gun is assembled. It's actually easier to do it when it's disassembled, so I forgot basically. But you're just going to go ahead and give it a clean on both ends. So you can see there's some gunk in there, and that's just wear from the hop up. It could be dirty BBs. You know, if you drop the pistol, it could be dirt from that or whatnot, or even just holster stuff, you know. There's gunk inside your holster, so it's pretty normal to have dirt in your barrel. Don't freak out if you do have it. You just want to clean it as best you can. It doesn't have to be spotless. Am I going to go through this whole box of 500 cleaning this barrel? No. I'm just going to get it generally clean. Go on both ends. Be careful with the hop-up rubber on this. If you're getting a lot of resistance when you're cleaning the barrel, that is probably your hop-up rubber, and you want to back off of that a little bit so you don't accidentally tear it. Because then that is a real pain in the butt to get to, especially on this gun, to replace. So there is that. Alright, so that is how you disassemble a 1911, along with some general pointers for cleaning our pistol. Hope you guys liked the video. Feel free to like and subscribe. Also check out both of our channels. We have Mag Monkeys, which is our non-edited channel, and we have Mag Monkeys Airsoft, which is our edited channel. Thanks guys for watching.